Picture you trying to go get your very next meal. You get up and you drive to the grocery store and you say, hey, I'm going to look at what's on the shelves to determine what I want to eat for dinner tonight. As you look around, you realize that a lot of the shelves are empty. The things on your shopping list originally, you had apples, almonds, and coffee. None of those are there anymore. That is a reality that each and every one of us will eventually face if we do not act on the situation regarding the declining population of bees and pollinators. Pollinators do a lot for our agriculture, and today I'm going to get into that. According to the Food and Agricultural Association, the FAO, on June 7, 2019, 75% of food that we consume relies on pollinators. So today I'm here to argue that the bee population in Northern America is serious and requires immediate action. This is not something to put off for later. It's something to dwell on right now and come up with a solution for right now. So today I'm here to give a speech on the problem, then I will get into the cause, and finally I will wrap up with the solution in which we can implement. So let's begin. The biggest problem is bee populations are declining rapidly. Native bees are leaving at an alarming rate. Native bees are leaving at an alarming rate compared to the different types of bees. Many species that were once common and native to the area are now no longer here. Some bees are very, very close to extinction. According to the Xerxes Society that posted in March 15th, 2023, 25% of US native bees are currently at risk. The thing is, the loss of the bee population does not just affect our agriculture. It affects our food, it affects our ecosystem, and finally it affects the biodiversity. And these three things can catalyst into many different harms in our society. According to a post posted by Oregon State University on April 12, 2021, the western bumblebee has decreased by 90%. And this matters because according to the National Academic of Science posted on May 28, 2016, native bees are the better pollinators for our area. Essentially, what this means is when our population of bees decreases, like locally, our local species decreases, it decreases the efficacy of how effective these bees can pollinate. At the end of the day, all that matters is these bees need to be able to do their job, and the native bees are best at doing their job for their area, and since there are less and less of them, it is becoming harder to pollinate them. So to understand why this is happening, let's get into the cause. So the cause. There are multiple conflicting stressors. For this. Number one, let's understand the biggest reason. Bee decline is not just caused by one big thing. It really is a multiple variety of stressors that all are colliding amongst each other and are harming our populations. First of all, it's a loss of habitat. Urban development in cities is harming the natural places where bees live and they develop. Industrial farming has also decreased a heavy amount of these habitable places where bees situate themselves. According to the USDA on January 10, 2020, habitat loss, pesticides, climate change, disease are all great examples of ways that bees have been harmed by humans. Fewer nesting spots are available for these bees, which makes it hard for them to intermingle amongst each other and develop and grow as a species. The EPA also posted on April 22nd, 2022, that the growth in urban development has also caused less landscape to be available for land and flowers to grow. And when there's less flowers, truthfully, there's less job for bees to do, which causes them to move away to different areas, which again, in turn, hurts us. Climate change is another great example of what's going on right now. Climate change, in terms of global warming, in terms of different erratic temperatures in society right now, what it's causing is everything in nature works in a balance. The bees have a job to do, and someone has a job to handle the bees. And when we mess up the way that the climate is moving, it essentially causes extra pesticides. It causes that to weaken colonies. It means that a lot of different things are going to impact each other. And because the layers are so intermingled amongst each other, it is really hard to attack exactly what's happening. At the end of the day, bees do emerge when food is unavailable. So when we see that there's less food in for them to eat, it causes problems. Okay, so in source 7, Nature Sustainability posted on February 3rd, 2024, that Steroids disrupt and deregulate survival. So climate shifts have caused the blooms to mismatch each other. Okay, so let's get into the solution. So the solution for this problem. At the end of the day, it's a combination of three main factors: policy, habitat, and individual change. The bee decline is very, very preventable right now. We're not at a stage where it's impossible to stop. So solutions are possible. You just have to hit them at multiple levels because the problems have been so mixed up. First of all, plant more native flowers. Let's keep the native bees in the area. Next, protect the wild lands. At the end of the day, when we have big areas, sorry, when we have big areas where bees are not able to develop and grow amongst each other, it causes problems. Solutions are very existent. Let's create the areas and avenues where bees can pollinate amongst each other. Policy is a great example. Let's reduce the use of pesticides and pollution. Let's create an environment where bees want to thrive and want to live instead of spraying everything down with chemicals. Let's protect the endangered populations of bees. At the end of the day, bees need to be protected, so let's keep them safe. And finally, areas that are being effectively pollinated, let's support those areas and keep them safe. So today, what I described was the problem with bees. Bees are necessary for our ecosystem, and when we see an area where bees cannot thrive, we need to help them and support them. I argued that the bee population rapidly declining was something that needs to be acted on right now. Then I got into the cause of it, which talked about how the multiple conflicting stressors in terms of environment and a variety of other stressors have impacted bees significantly. And then I discussed the solution, where I talked about how we need to combine a great implementation of policy. Let's get some habitat solutions going on in there. And finally, let's wrap it up by making individual changes in the way we do things.